hands to our sides, our shoulders obviously away from the ears. Nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's do that a few times. Feeling the muscles in our faces start to relax. And from the ground up, we'll do a quick body scan, feeling not only the dynamic tension in our bodies, but sensing anywhere that may be comfortable, uncomfortable, energetic, or even lethargic. We'll scan through each part of the body, rising up through the legs, through the knees, into the upper thighs, the hamstrings and the glutes. Drawing our attention through the pelvis and midsection, lower back, abdominal, all the way up through our chest, into our upper back, shoulders down the arms, into the fingertips, drawing our attention back up to the throat and into the head. Placing our hands on our belly. Our breathing today will be 5 breaths in, holding for 5, and exhaling for 5. Try and draw nice deep breaths in to the nose and out through the nose, activating that parasympathetic nervous system. As if you're breathing through a straw through your nose or snoring. And then exhaling through that nose powerfully with heated breath. We'll do a few more. In for 5. Hold for 5. And exhaling for 5. Again, through the nose, nice and warm. Two more. Breath to assume its natural rhythm now. We can remove our arms from our belly, just allowing them to fall naturally, feeling our feet grounded underneath our hips, all 4 corners of the feet activated. Taking a moment to set any intention for ourselves for today's practice. Being sure to let go of any competition, judgment, and no expectations. Allowing ourselves to flow through today's flowy vinyasa. Slowly bringing our senses back to the sounds around us. Blinking our eyes open. On the inhale, we're going to lift the arms all the way up. Exhale, bringing our hands to our heart. Inhale, lifting the arms. Exhaling, lowering hands to heart. Repeating this. One move, one breath, slowly bringing awareness to our breath, bringing our breath into alignment with our bodies. And again, those deep breaths are activating our parasympathetic nervous system. Two more. Taking a breath here in between. Ensuring that our feet are in fact underneath our hips, forward facing feet and toes. This time we're going to push our hands up and around, swooping. We're going to sink into our chair with two poses, either hands to heart or parallel to the floor, whichever works for each of us individually. So inhaling up. Exhaling, sinking into chair, either bringing our arms parallel or hands to heart. Swooping all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. And we'll repeat these motions. Whatever works for you. I will show you the variations. You choose how far you want your lever to be out. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, sinking down. Inhale, swoop. Hands to heart. Keep this going. Generating some gentle heat, connecting our breath with our movement. And triggering our healing, internal healing mechanisms. Two more. And taking another deep breath in here to reset. Allowing our arms to fall by our sides. Stepping out into goddess here. We're going to come into a goddess squat. So the toes are pointed out, our knees are tracking over top of the toes. And again, hands can come to heart, or we're going to bring them to our sides. So fingers are nice and splayed out, wide hands. On the inhale, we'll rise up. Exhale, drawing those shoulder blades together. Inhale, rising up. Squeezing those thighs together. Going to the power of your breath. And the speed of your breath. Whatever speed works for you. Trying to keep our pelvis directly underneath our hips. Not sinking, not shifting one way or the other. And again, just tracking those knees. Taking our time, feeling the sensations as we go. Firming the glutes and trying to protect and strengthen our lower backs. Two more. Holding this goddess here, extending our arms out, if that's accessible, palms are facing up. Strengthening our quadriceps and our glutes. Again, trying to keep the pelvis forward facing underneath our hips. If this becomes too challenging for the arms, you are welcome to bring the arms to the hips. Two more breaths. Drawing the chest upwards as those shoulder blades contract. And inhale, rising up, lowering our arms. Stepping out a little bit further here, we'll do a hip hinge. So hinging at the hips this time, pushing that tailbone out behind us, trying to keep our backs nice and flat. We do have blocks, so if it's easier to ensure that our lower back doesn't round out by placing hands on blocks, that is welcome. Pressing out with our fingertips, even walking out in order to maintain the alignment of our back, not rounding that lower back. And yes, here you are welcome to lower the head, chin to chest. Coming as flat down on your hands as is accessible. Again, just taking care of the alignment of our spine. Allowing that head to hang loose, the neck is long. Elongating as we inhale, drawing air in between the vertebrae and the ribs. Planting our left hand down into the center, right underneath our face. We're going to draw up the right arm and stack it over top of the body. You may feel a little bit of a stretch in the left inner thigh here. Gentle rotation of the spine, no forcing. Looking up towards that outstretched hand. And even feeling the back of the right leg open up slightly. 2 more breaths here. On the next exhale, we'll lower down that right hand, replacing it where the right hand is. Nice deep breath in. Exhaling, bringing the left hand over top of the body. And again, if we need to shorten that arm, we can always bring the left hand to the hip. If you're taking care of a shoulder or an arm that just isn't happy with this position, that is fine. This time feeling a little bit of a stretch in the right thigh as well as the left hamstring. One more breath here. And on the exhale, lowering that hand down, bringing our gaze back down to the floor, and gently bending those knees, hands to hips, and we'll rise up, engaging the glutes. Great. Shifting left and right here. Again, just coming back to the focus of those quadriceps, flowing through our practice today. Bringing the arms into it, rotating the thumbs down, going to whatever speed your body is feeling. Fluid movement here. Shifting the weight left and right. Keeping those quadriceps nice and warm for all the warriors we're about to do. Our flowy warriors. This is Tim's session for sure. There will not be a single down dog, so he should be very pleased. I aim to please. Shifting our weight all the way over to the right, either holding a lunge here or coming all the way down into Skandasana, depending on what works for you. If you need to build strength in the quadricep, then you are welcome to stay up into a lunge. If you would rather take this pose lower and stretch out the inner thigh, then that is another variation. Again, this is a very strong hold, can be intense, very good. Flexing that front foot. Getting as much of a stretch as is possible today, depending on how you're feeling. Very good. A little bit of stability of the core and our mind, of course. Planting our hands on the floor, shifting over to the other side, again, either for a strengthening of the quadricep or a stretch of that inner thigh, flexing our toes and working on our stability here. Planting our hands down, back to the center. We're going to wiggle our feet in, coming back into mountain pose here, rising up nice and gently. We'll do our Vinyasa to start, which is back to our mountain into a chair. Hands to heart here. We're swooping back into our chair. So pushing up on the inhale, exhale, coming into chair. Inhale, swooping up. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's repeat. On our next one, we'll do a hip hinge, forward fold. Extending over, pressing back. And for a little bit of extra support, just putting our hands on our legs. Again, trying not to round out the spine here. Keeping our spine nice and tall. Again, you can put hands on blocks or just support with our legs. And bending those knees back into chair. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hands to heart. And repeat the full motion. Inhale, back to chair. Holding here. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hands to heart. On our next, we're going to hold our chair. Come into prayer pose and do a gentle rotation. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, swooping into chair, hands to heart. When you're ready and you've got your stability, we're going to just shift our weight in over one knee, looking up towards our elbow. Pressing those hands together, dynamic tension here throughout the body. Trying to keep our pelvis and our knees in alignment. Just do a little bit of a check. Make sure you're not shifting one way or the other. Now, upper shoulder should be engaging with the other into the spine. Drawing energy into the spine. Warmth with each breath. On the next inhale, come back into chair. Rise all the way up. Hands to heart. Taking a deep breath in between here. Resetting. And inhale, rising up. Exhale, swooping around. Hands to heart. And we'll rotate over the opposite knee. Again, checking the alignment of our knees. Trying to keep both of them square, forward facing, indicating that our hips are most likely above our knees. And our ankles, looking up towards that elbow that's floating in the air, pressing the hands together. 2 more breaths here. pose. So feet are just about twice hip width apart. That back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Hips are facing forward. Shifting down into your lunge. And now bringing our hands up, the pelvis will open. We're actually going to stand this time with our palms up, rolling the shoulders. We'll most likely lift the chest and roll those shoulder blades together. Again, if we need to take care of our shoulders or our arms, the variation is to bring our hands down to our hips. Warrior one, shifting that pelvis back to the front, lifting those arms up to the sky, engaging both shoulder blades, drawing them into the spine. Naturally should be lifting the chest up towards the sky. Deep breaths in here to help open up our heart center. And our thighs are drawing in towards one another, engaging them to strengthening our legs, rooting through those feet. And again, if we're taking care of any shoulders or arms, the variation is to bring the hands down to the hips. So from here, we're going to lift up on that back toe. Adjust our stance so that we're nice and solid. We're in our Crescent Lunge here. On the exhale, we're going to sink down. Deep breath in, sinking down into an active lunge. And inhale, rising up. Usually it's the opposite of what we do in body pump. Find your rhythm of breath, your flow, strengthening that front quadricep. The hips and pelvis are forward facing. Three more. From here is where our flowiness starts. So shifting that back foot in about halfway. So we're in a shortened warrior. I'm going to shift all of our weight to our front leg. So again, we're in a shortened crescent lunge. We're working towards a warrior three here. So we're starting to just gently lift off that back foot. Lifting the back foot off the ground. Hands can be at the sides, on the hips, whichever works for your stability. Slowly flowing that foot off the ground and then placing it back down. Eventually, we may want to just tilt the upper body and start coming parallel to the floor. But again, depends on how we're feeling, balance and strength-wise today. We may not get there today, and there's no competition. Enjoy the journey, feeling the sensations in our bodies and really working that left glute. Should be feeling it fire. And eventually, some of us may feel that we've got the power and stability today to work towards a warrior three. Taking our time, enjoying the practice, whatever it is for you today. Of course, we've got Power Warrior 3, or an alternative variation is extending those arms beyond. here, we're going to work our way into a standing split. So our front is going to come down to the mat, hands coming down. Take a little bit of the weight off that left glute. Great, micro bend in the left knee, lifting that right leg as high up as possible while keeping the pelvis square to the middle. Head is hanging nice and loose. Plant that right foot back on the ground. The left knee bends. Very good. From here, drawing that left arm up onto the left knee. We're in a side angle here. Right arm comes up over top of the body. Find your balance. You may want to wiggle the feet around. And try to visualize here that your back is against a wall. So drawing that shoulder blade in towards the spine so that the arm is above the body, the chest is lifted high. Again, if that right arm needs a little bit of TLC today, just lower it. Straightening up that front leg, lowering the left arm wherever it falls along the shin. And here we're going to lower the right arm behind our back. And again, drawing that right shoulder behind the ear. We're really into the side body here. Lower the left hand down to the mat, bending the left knee. Very good. Bring the right hand down to meet it, sinking down into a low lunge, dropping that right knee all the way down. Flatten that back foot. We're going to start just by putting our hands on our knee, sinking into it. Lifting the chest while we sink into that hip flexor. And one variation is to draw that right arm up, stacking it over top of the hip, added weight. Try not to collapse completely, but keep the pelvis engaged. That right quadricep is firing. And then if you'd like to side bend over to the left, you are welcome. Lifting through that side body, drawing air in to open up the ribs. Expanding the chest and the rib cage. One more breath. Lowering that right arm. Hands are coming to each side of the foot, curling the toes of the right foot and pressing into the center here. Feet will come forward facing. Wiggle those legs out. That feels good. Let the neck hang long. Hands to our hips, and let's just draw ourselves up, engaging the glutes. Perfect. Shifting this time all the way over to the right. That left foot now will be perpendicular at about 45-degree angle. Getting our pelvis nice and straight forward facing. We're in Warrior One here. Coming into our lunge. Opening the pelvis. Arms are drawing up, facing the ceiling. Engaging those shoulders should lift our heart center up. Take a look at your knee. Make sure you can see your toes just beyond. The hips are aligned underneath our shoulders. Feeling any sensations in the body. Maybe you didn't feel the same ones last time we did a warrior. And drawing that the pelvis is facing forward, the thighs are drawing inside towards one another. Sink those shoulder blades down so the shoulders aren't up around your ears, causing any stress. Check in with your jaw, your neck, making sure that we're not holding a ton of tension there. Two more breaths. Lowering the hands, either on the hips or behind and around. Coming into a crescent lunge here. So we're up on the back toes. Again, on the exhale, we're sinking down. Inhale, rising up. If your breath does the opposite, that's fine. Don't try to force it, so long as you're breathing. Sinking with one and rising with the other. I inevitably do the opposite. Sinking that back knee, tall upper bodies, and it's getting fancy. Oh, the rain again. One more. Good. From here, let's just shrink up our crescent lunge, walking the back foot up. We're going to start our flow towards warrior three, shifting our weight to that front leg, slowly lifting the left foot off the mat, engaging the left glute to draw that foot up, but also the right one to stabilize. Right quadricep, that's it. The heart, or power lunge, or even that third variation of extending the arms out. Just listen to your body, listen to your lower back in particular. Slowly working our bodies parallel to the floor. Very nice. It may not be today, but we do our best. Very good, Susan. Look at you. Okay, I won't. Don't look at me. Good. Let's do this for a few more breaths. Find our grounding in that right foot, all four corners of the foot. Nice. And when you're ready, lowering our upper body and our hands down to the mat into our single leg split, floating that left foot above the mat. Again, trying to keep our hips square to the mat. Probably have a micro bend in that right knee, and allowing the neck to hang long and loose, holding no tension in the neck or the jaw. If anyone's not sweating, you're not working hard enough. On the next exhale, lowering that left foot back down to the ground. Good. Bending the right leg, bringing our right arm and forearm onto the knee. Shifting the pelvis towards the front of the wall and lifting that left arm either above the body, on the hip, or behind the body. Shorten the lever as much as needed for the lower back. Drawing energy all the way through from that left foot into the hip, up into the left arm. The neck again is in a neutral position in alignment with the spine. And yes, you are welcome to gaze up towards the outstretched hand. Again, visualizing that we're against a wall, drawing that left shoulder blade towards it. Good. Straightening that front right leg, allowing the right arm to fall where it might. Again, staying in that left side body, building up strength in the left glute. Lowering the left arm at any time as needed. Right on behind the back is totally fine. Again, just drawing that left shoulder back, lifting our heart center towards the sky. Bending the right knee, let's come down onto the mat into our low lunge. Lower it down, great. Flattening the left foot, both hands are going to come onto the knee. Again, just lifting that heart center, inhaling. Sinking a little bit more into the hip flexor and the psoas on the exhale. Slight back bend here, no forcing it though. And again, keeping that head in alignment with the spine. I know I have a tendency to go back. Drawing that left thigh in towards the right one so that it's still active. Lifting our left arm above the body, stacking it over the hip, and bending over to that right side if you'd like. Yeah. Breathing air into the left side body, creating a little bit of space there. Rib cage. One more breath. Lower the arm, ha. This time let's step into a plank. Hands are directly underneath the shoulders. You wiggle those hips, the torso is parallel to the floor, pressing away from the ground. This one's for Linda. I thought I'd ad-lib a little bit, go off script. Those abs engaged as if the navel is being drawn through the spine up to the ceiling. Good. And with the right leg, step through. Bring the left foot in. We're in Uttanasana here. Come into chair on the inhale. Exhale, scooping all the way up, hands to heart. We made it to our warrior flow. Deep breaths in. We've got one more flowy, fun bit to go through today. So again, hips are going to be directly underneath. Feet are underneath our hips. That would be better. Hips are underneath our shoulders. We're back in our mountain pose. How about that? Feeling all four corners of the feet firmly grounded. So we're going to do a tree pose float. So shifting all of our weight into the right leg without really arching too much. We want to keep our spines in alignment. We're going to tap our left foot out and bring it in. Out and bring it in. You may be able to bring that foot a little bit higher each time. You may even want to work towards bringing the knee up on an angle, or even working towards a big toe hold. Whatever we work towards today, we are going to ensure correct alignment of the spine. So we want to avoid twisting or bending the spine in order to get into a tree pose or a big toe hold. If I can't reach, then I'm not meant to be there. So I'm reaching for the ankle, fine, I made it. I may even be able to hold it there today, fine. But my spine is in alignment. I'm not bending or torquing. Very nice. That may be all I can do today. And we're just going to flow through this for a few moments. Engaging the hip flexor, strengthening the hip. Getting some stability, working through and deconstructing patterns that we have where we probably just grab onto our foot and stick it where we think it should be. However, our foot doesn't have to be in a certain location. So we're recreating those patterns in our mind. New positions, new patterns. Very good. If you would like to just hold a tree pose at some point, you are more than welcome. I'm feeling like I'm there now with this range starting again. Keep flowing, hold. This is your practice. You are supported to move as you like. As you find stillness or you work through energy in the body, just keep moving. They say that each person enters yoga at the level of their nervous system. So many of us are quite nervous and have a lot of energy and we want to do something powerful. But sometimes we eventually calm down and we want to just hold a tree pose. Hey-oh! Hey! Shake that out. Nice! Let's do the same thing on the right foot. So, once again, coming back into mountain. And extending the right toe up, bringing it in slowly. Finding our flow, our rhythm, and whatever suits our level of energy and flexibility or stability today. Drawing your attention to that left foot, feeling all four corners of it grounded. That's where I'm supposed to be today. Nowhere higher, nowhere lower. I found my resting place. Dynamic tension, grounding all the way from the foot, all the way through the body. Let's do a couple more breaths here and then we'll release out of whatever position we might be in. Shake it out, wiggle those feet, the ankles. Nice. Let's do our Vinyasa one more time. We'll slowly sink down into our chair. Come up on our toes for one last balance. On the inhale, lifting our arms all the way up. Exhale, swooping into our chair. Bringing our hands to heart this time. Coming up on our toes in our chair pose. Ooh, that's not so bad now that we've Built up our stability with our trees. We've got our sturdy tree legs. Good. 2 more breaths. Nobody's collapsing on me. We'll slowly lower down onto the heels and slowly lower down onto our butts as gracefully as possible. Don't watch me. We'll come into any seated position that is comfortable. You can draw the heels in, stacking the heels on top of one another. Also welcome to stack the legs on top. I'm going to do a gentle rotation here. So right hand on top of the left knee, left arm comes up and around to the back of the body, looking over the left shoulder, pressing away from the floor to keep our spine nice and tall. Ensuring deep, solid and steady breaths here. Any indication of labored breathing might mean that we're just pushing a little bit too hard. Remember, there's no competition. Reflecting on the intention we may have set for ourselves at the beginning of practice. Three more breaths. Back to center, deep breath in between. Left hand comes onto the right knee, right arm comes behind. Tall upper body, elongating the spine, looking over that right shoulder. Deep breaths. Steadily inhaling at the same speed as the exhale. Enjoying the sound of rain here in Hinge. Thankful we're not outside, stuck walking in it. Two more breaths. And the next exhale, come back to center. Deep breath in between. Roll those shoulders up. Pivoting ourselves on our mat, we're going to come slowly down into Savasana. We're going to actually keep our blocks. We're going to do a restorative hip bridge-ish. So lowering down one vertebrae at a time. First off, we'll draw the knees into our chest. 2 variations, either grabbing behind the thighs and trying to keep the hips flat on the mat, or of course, reaching around the knees. And it just depends on the level of pressure that you feel that your body can take. Ensuring that our shoulders are on the mat. You may be engaging the biceps here to draw those knees towards the chest. Placing our attention on the breath for a few moments. Releasing our feet back down to the mat, hip width apart, 90 degrees. On the next exhale, we're going to thrust up into our hip bridge, and some of us may want to slide our block underneath it for a restorative hip bridge. If you desire to do that, then it would be even easier to elevate our feet above our hips. So, deep breath in, exhale, coming up, squeezing the glutes so that the pelvis is reaching up towards the ceiling. You may even want to walk the shoulder blades down the mat a little bit. And you are welcome to slide a block underneath the hips here. Come into a restorative hip bridge or hold. Palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Alternatively, you are welcome to interlace the hands underneath the back. An additional stretch of the shoulders and the arms. The chin is slowly sinking towards the chest. Knees are stacked over top of the ankles. And you're welcome to lower down the pelvis on top of that block now. Oh, just allow all of the weight to be taken off. When you're ready, you are welcome to lift the feet off the ground and stack them over top of our pelvis. So just giving a little bit of support here to the lymphatic system. Allowing some of the toxins to move through the legs. Helping our digestive system, circulation of our blood, and the clearing of toxins. You're welcome to do whatever you like with those feet. Wiggle them around, flex and point. We're just going to keep our legs in the air here for about a minute. Of course, if a wall is close by and you need a little support, then just scooch on over. And then you're welcome to keep your legs in the air as long as you like. You can even finish the practice here. And while we're in this position, you're welcome to reflect on your intention. Draw your attention to your breath. You may even wish to take a moment to set an affirmation. I am calm. I have strength. Two more breaths here. Everybody's heart rates seem to have lowered. And come back to resting. Lowering the feet, hinging at the knees, and slowly lowering one foot down at a time. Back to the mat. Scooching the block out if you'd like. And we'll all just lower down slowly, flat and supine. Palms are facing the ceiling. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more. And with smiles on our faces, we take our last moment together to be grateful for something. It may be just this community, or something somebody may have done or said for you that's put a smile on your heart, on your face today. Gratitude is the best medicine. I am grateful for each of you. And thank you for coming to practice and taking time for yourselves. When you're ready, drawing the legs up into our glutes, rolling over to one side, and slowly, gently pressing